The streets of Silver City are bustling with merchants. Suddenly, the mood shifts as soldiers on horseback escort a prison wagon, shouting at civilians to clear the path. Locals gossip, spotting the prisoner's werewolf features. In the distance, the Rose prison stands atop a hill, surrounded by a blue magic barrier that promises no escape. Suddenly, the prison wall shatters. Ophelia, the blood princess, claws her way out, laughing maniacally at the moon and taunting Warden Aiden for thinking he could hold her. After 2 years of painful digging, she's finally free. Ophelia spreads her arms to embrace the night air, declaring that the pain was worth it just to see the full moon again. But Aiden is already there, smirking coldly. He knew all along. Before Ophelia can react, top-tier bounty hunters surround her, cutting her celebration short. Aiden coldly offers her a choice, the cell or a beating. Ophelia snaps, her body erupting in flames as she screams that she'd rather die than lose her freedom again. The resistance fails instantly. She's chained to a cross. Aiden asserts his dominance, opening a massive portal that reminds everyone why he's the most feared warden on the continent. On the surface, he's invincible, but inside, he's panicking. He's a powerless transmigrator surviving on acting skills. The prisoners sense weakness, screaming insults and threats from their cells. Aiden tries to order lights out, but the monsters ignore him. A snake prisoner smashes a window, mocking Aiden for being weak and helpless compared to his past self. Desperate, Aiden casts his only spell Flash, but it just blinds his own guard. Amidst the prisoner's laughter, he realizes he needs to find allies fast or he's dead meat. Just then, a dangerous new death row prisoner arrives. With blue hair and demonic horns, she terrifies the guards, who warn Aiden that she's big trouble. Watching the new prisoner scream, Aiden sighs at his rotten luck. He's stuck guarding this dungeon in the declining Silver City, with no way out. The story shifts to Veronica, a former werewolf cop. Records say she killed a man in a drunken rage and is now on death row, heavily sedated and awaiting her fate. Outside, Captain Rosen pressures Aiden. Since non-human prisoners live long and cost a fortune, he implies that a few accidental deaths would solve their budget problems. Protests are erupting in the city against non-humans. Rosen states clearly, to appease the public and save the prison, Aiden must execute a prisoner immediately. Rosen names the perfect target, Veronica. Executing a death row inmate solves everything. Aiden walks away in silence, the weight of the dirty political game pressing on him. In this post-war chaos, nobles blame non-humans for everything. Realizing justice is a joke, Aiden decides to compromise and accept the dirty deal to survive. Back inside, the guard struggles with overcrowding. Suddenly, Faye the succubus pops up, eagerly inviting Aiden to share her spacious bed for the night. Faye tries to trade sex for a reduced sentence. Aiden ignores her antics, dragging the unconscious death row prisoner along to dump her in Faye's cell instead. Aiden coldly dumps the prisoner into Faye's cell, introducing her new roommate. With the full moon rising, locking a werewolf with a succubus feels like a ticking time bomb. Under the full moon, the wolf doctor grinds herbs, doubting if mere sedatives can suppress the bloodthirsty instincts awakening tonight. Tension spikes in the cell. The succubus tries to distract with gossip, but Veronica ignores her, clutching poisonous berries and closing in with a lethal stare. Next morning, Aiden processes requests. Combs are fine, daggers are denied, and the succubus's offer of special repayment? Rejected with a threat of punishment. The wolf doctor bursts in, panicking that the sedatives weren't enough. Aiden stays calm and orders him to check the cells immediately. Shockingly, the succubus is alive and clinging to the werewolf. The cell is tidy, leaving the doctor confused. This isn't a monster, but a model prisoner. The doctor finds only one explanation. She must be a blood-sucking werewolf. His mind drifts back 100 years to a siege where humans and wolves were trapped together. Starving and desperate, the human leader sacrificed his horse to feed the wolves. This act of trust won the wolf leader's loyalty, sealing an alliance under the moonlight. Just as the doctor argues that these wolves suppress their instincts to live with humans, a guard bursts in. The werewolf has gone berserk in the showers. The shower is a bloodbath. Injured prisoners accuse the werewolf. Aiden, sensing something off about this sudden violence, demands an explanation from Veronica. As the mob screams for blood, Aiden silences them. He then coldly informs Veronica he's pushing for her execution, testing her resolve. Veronica, broken by the accusations and the chanting mob, begs for death. Her resignation only convinces Aiden that there's more to this killer than meets the eye. Elsewhere, a prisoner breaks down over an accidental killing, while strange files pile up. In this prison, everyone hides a dark secret. The investigation begins. A black-haired prisoner steps forward, testifying that 2 others had cornered the succubus first. As Aiden takes notes, Veronica screams "Wait!" from behind the bars. Gripping the iron, she desperately pleads that she didn't kill anyone. Aiden re-examines her original case. Veronica recalls the arrest of a bootlegger, which spiraled into a tragedy involving the man's wife. She sobs that she didn't shoot, but her gun was missing bullets and her only alibi was an abandoned graveyard. Every piece of evidence is stacked against her. She tries to use her heroic past as proof, saving villagers, fighting monsters. But Aiden cuts her off coldly. Being a hero doesn't prove you didn't pull the trigger. Aiden pushes harder, warning that weak excuses won't satisfy the parliament. Veronica breaks down, realizing that despite saving so many, she can't save herself. The interrogation ends, and Veronica is dragged away. As Aiden ponders the case, a guard reports that the key witness, the succubus, is finally awake. Bribed by the prisoner, the guard sneaks the succubus into Aiden's office. As the door clicks shut, the real negotiation begins. Mayfair, the succubus, tries to brag about being a wealthy tycoon, but reality hits her hard instantly. She claims she fought back against bullies, but Aiden exposes the truth. She slipped on soap and knocked herself out. What a joke. Jokes aside, she gets serious. She claims Veronica was framed and invites Aiden into her dream to prove it. The dream turns nightmarish with giant eyes and tentacles. A victim's grudge manifests as a curse, haunting the real killer. The corruption surfaces. Money changed hands to rush the verdict, proving justice is fragile against greed and power. Aiden spots a glaring hole. Berserk werewolves use claws, yet Veronica used a gun? It doesn't add up. This case is rigged. Night falls, and the prison's secrets stir under the moonlight. Unseen forces are watching, waiting for their move. Back in the cell, things get weird. The succubus enters a trance for the ritual, and Aiden just has to endure the awkwardness. Veronica is sedated and deep asleep. The succubus signals that it's the perfect time to dive into the beast's subconscious. Aiden warns her not to tamper with anything. Their consciousness sinks, standing before the dark abyss of Veronica's mind. The dream reveals a brutal massacre. The werewolves keep their oath not to harm humans, refusing to fight back even as they are slaughtered. She begged a human official for help, only for him to drop the mask and reveal his betrayal. Hope turns to despair. They framed her as a murderer after killing her kin. Amidst chants of execution, justice becomes a sick joke. Aiden realizes the enemy controls the judges too. Playing by rules won't work. He needs the dead to speak to win this. Speaking of the dead, Aiden thinks of the necromancer Asura. But suddenly, the mastermind, Senator Anthony, arrives in person. The senator visits late at night with threats. They spar in the office, and the power struggle is now out in the open. The old fox shows a paper painting Aiden as a hero. It's a trap to manipulate public opinion and force him to drop the case. Why not be a hero? Anthony pats Aiden's face patronizingly, trying to silence him. Aiden looks down, seemingly submitting. Thunder crashes outside. As soon as the senator leaves, Aiden's demeanor shifts. The submission was just an act. He opens a secret passage behind the bookshelf. Lantern in hand, Aiden descends into the dark. His dangerous counterattack starts now. Aiden descends into the dungeon to face Melophilia, the goddess of conspiracy. She snaps her chains effortlessly, staring right through him with a knowing look. I knew you'd come, Aiden. It won't be easy. Melophilia gestures to a massive chessboard, laying down the gauntlet. Defeat me here, and I'll tell you the answer. The mind game begins. Promotional page for the manga platform. No story progression. Chapter start. Aiden struggles to push a heavy object in the dark, but before he knows it, he gets blasted backward by a sudden, massive impact. Back at the game, Melophilia senses Aiden's distraction. Aiden adjusts his sunglasses and drops the act. He's already deduced the mastermind is a high-ranking official who rigged the police and judges. Aiden realizes they want to shut down the prison to silence him. Melophilia laughs maniacally, posing a fatal question: why does this city even need a prison for heretics in the first place? She reveals the truth. The expensive mithril barriers exist because they fear her power. As long as she remains, the prison cannot close. Aiden grips a chess piece, finding his leverage. Aiden refuses to die again, but Melophilia mocks him ruthlessly. He's a powerless mortal with a weak soul. Relying on old contracts to force prisoners will only lead to a backlash. If force is risky, trade is the answer. Aiden digs through the files, eyes lighting up. If he leverages the prisoners' desires found in their records, he can get them to cooperate willingly. Aiden's ambition flares. 1,000 prisoners mean 1,000 strategies. He slams down a checkmate, but Melophilia counters with a chilling question. Do you know the price if you lose? She was just toying with him. While sparing him this time, she drops a bombshell. She's the one who summoned his soul into this body. She looms over a sweating Aiden. Don't disappoint me. After dealing with the goddess, Aiden rushes to the cell of Asura, the S-class necromancer. Sharp-tongued as ever, she immediately teases him about spending the night with a succubus. Engrossed in her book, Asura can't be bothered to help personally. She tosses Aiden a purple pendant, grumbling but forced by the soul contract to explain. Use it near a corpse to summon spirits. Asura explains it casually, but the moment Aiden activates it, the pendant erupts with terrifying purple energy. A massive skeletal specter manifests behind him, shocking even Aiden with its power. Aiden is trembling from fear, but Asura mistakes it for suppressed rage. Watching him storm off, the arrogant mage gets cold feet. Oh, did I push the joke too far? In reality, Aiden had her figured out. Knowing she was desperate for new books, he bribed her with bestsellers. The moment books were mentioned, the arrogant mage's eyes sparkled, and she agreed instantly. Promotional page showcasing other manga covers. Chapter 8 opens in a desolate graveyard, crows cawing overhead. Aiden walks alone among the tombstones, clutching Asura's pendant, ready to get to work. Awkward situation. All the dead here are cremated ashes. Aiden chants and taps on the urn, but nothing happens. The magic fizzles out completely. Suddenly, the gravekeeper storms out yelling. But realizing what Aiden is doing, the old man screams ghost, and flees in terror. Aiden stands there, annoyed. Well, there goes my cover. Aiden's summoning ritual in the graveyard seems to be a bust. Just as he gets frustrated, a coffin creaks open. A green-haired ghost rises, grumpy and demanding to know who disturbed her sleep. Instead of apologizing, Aiden provokes her by yelling that her killer is still free. The ghost goes berserk with electricity. A flashback reveals her trauma, being threatened and slapped by a thug over fake alcohol. Gunshots echo in her memory as the ghost screams for revenge. Aiden calms her down, his eyes sharp. He analyzes the flashback. The killer's lapel pin belongs to the mounted police. Only the armory administrator has access to guns and would be missing a bullet. As Aiden nails the deduction, the suspect himself, Bruce, knocks on the door. Aiden plays the casual boss with the skinny suspect. He hands Bruce a revolver, smiling as he drops a verbal bomb. It keeps slipping and missing one bullet. A direct hit. The phrase hits Bruce like a truck. He sweats profusely and stammers. Aiden smiles, telling him to take his time, but internally he knows that panic confirms Bruce is the killer. The psychological warfare continues outside. Aiden whispers, missing one bullet again. Bruce cracks, screaming defenses in the middle of the street while confused bystanders watch. An old man mentions ghosts at the graveyard, and Bruce snaps. He starts hallucinating the victim's voice, screaming at thin air in a public meltdown. He's losing his mind. Late at night, Bruce curls up in bed, terrified. Outside, a crow watches him. Far away, Aiden holds a crystal ball, sighing coldly. The cat-and-mouse game is just beginning. It's Daly, the witch, running the surveillance via her crystal ball. She sits elegantly but complains sassily about Aiden always asking for favors without offering rewards. Ad page. Promotional material for other webtoons displayed. Ad page. More promotional content for the scanning group. Back in prison, Daly tries to negotiate for benefits. Aiden plays dumb, staring her down. Daly suddenly remembers how dangerous he is and gets cold feet. Smart move, the witch throws her hands up, claiming she was joking. Aiden keeps his stern face, setting boundaries, but Daly still manages to hint at better food. Aiden offers cream cakes, and the witch melts instantly, grinning like a child. With his spy happy, Aiden turns back to the crystal ball, waiting for the night's main event. Dead of night. A loud snap wakes Bruce from his sleep. He sits up in panic. The silence is broken by the sound of shattering glass upstairs. Bruce looks up to see eerie blue lights and shadow tentacles swarming the ceiling. He screams, trying to convince himself it's just a nightmare, but the horror is too real. The ghost manifests. Bruce bolts out of his house, shirtless, screaming for help in the street. Neighbors wake up, pointing in horror at the spirit chasing him. Total public humiliation. In the shadows, Aiden holds a staff, orchestrating the chaos. He commands Bruce to confess while burning a voodoo doll to force the ghost into a more aggressive frenzy. The ghost is revealed to be Silene, a prisoner under Aiden's control. Chained up, she complains about him burning her doll. Aiden just smirks, calling it necessary for justice. Silene wraps up her ghostly act. Meanwhile, Bruce completely loses his mind, sprinting shirtless through the streets screaming about ghosts, leaving bystanders utterly confused. In his panic, Bruce crashes into a cloaked figure and hits the ground hard. The stranger glares down and snaps, "Quiet down. Do you want everyone to know your dirty secrets?" Bruce thinks he's found his boss Jia Long and cries out in relief. But the figure coldly tells him to shut up and move, instantly forcing the coward back into submission. Back inside, Bruce is still shaking. The ghost was real enough to touch him. He's sweating bullets, convinced they've messed with powerful forces they shouldn't have. The cloaked man tells him to chill, but Bruce is spiraling. Terrified that Veronica will come for his head, he screams that his fragile heart can't handle a vengeful ghost. They enter a safe house protected by magic circles. Just as Bruce relaxes, the cloaked man ominously implies that the innkeeper's ghost isn't the only one out for blood. Aiden manipulates Bruce, claiming power requires sacrifice. Meanwhile, a flashback shows a bandaged Veronica in interrogation, silently seething at the mention of the man who framed her, Jia Long. In the past, Jia Long tried to coerce Veronica with a promotion in exchange for sex. She didn't hesitate, delivering a brutal slap across his face that stunned the arrogant prick. Jia Long screamed threats of revenge, but Veronica just stared him down with ice-cold contempt. Present-day Aiden analyzes the story, realizing he's dealing with a fragile ego destroying what it can't possess. Under the night sky, Aiden calmly greets a massive, terrifying shadow entity. The creature's pressure cracks the surroundings, but Aiden chats casually, as if speaking to an old friend. The plan is in motion. A carrier pigeon takes flight as Aiden reviews the files. He's ready to use the prison's darkest secrets to drag the coward out of his hiding place. Here's the weapon, Subject 13, capable of mysterious correspondence. A pigeon smashes through Bruce's window, jarring him awake with a message that carries a maddening curse. Bruce picks up the paper filled with alien script. Instantly, a high-pitched ringing assaults his brain. The paper bursts into flames, and terrifying hallucinations begin to tear his sanity apart. The mental assault fades, leaving Bruce gasping for air, soaked in sweat. He stares out the broken window, momentarily lucid but paralyzed by the feeling that something terrible is watching him. To his eyes, the world has warped. The sky above the city twists into a massive green vortex. The hallucination is taking over his reality, eating away at his sanity. Before he can recover, maniacal laughter echoes from outside. Bruce peeks out the door, face twisted in confusion and terror, wondering what fresh hell has arrived. Bruce completely loses it, screaming the end of the world is coming, from the balcony. The young master frowns in annoyance and orders the butler to shut him up. Bruce bursts out of the room, desperate to escape. But at the manor gates, a massive, green-eyed monstrosity blocks his path, leaving him screaming for help into the empty void. The town is deserted and bathed in eerie green light. Desperate, Bruce runs toward an opening door, hoping for salvation, but instead, a glowing-eyed woman in a gothic dress steps out. Cornered and broken, Bruce drops to his knees and screams the truth: "It wasn't me." Yahello fired the gun. But his confession is met with the cold click of a pistol pointed straight at his head. Bruce kneels in the rain, swearing off greed, but the memory of a gunshot rings loud. He realizes with horror, was it his boss Yahello who tried to silence him? In the flashback, a swarm of crows attacks the gunman just as he fires. The shot goes wide, but still clips Bruce, turning the chase into chaotic bloodshed. Before he can catch his breath, he slips and plummets off the edge. He slams against the rocks, groaning in agony as darkness swallows him. He scrambles up, only to find himself in a graveyard. The tombstone in front of him bears Veronica's name. Ghostly figures with glowing eyes close in from the shadows. Terrified, Bruce runs blindly, only to crash into another grave. This one bears his own name, labeling him a scumbag blinded by money. Staring at the grave, a spectral vision of himself sneers that power is paid with corpses. Bruce's eyes widen. He finally realizes he's just a disposable pawn. He sobs on the ground, thinking spirits are claiming him. But to the bystanders, he's just a lunatic screaming at thin air in the middle of the town square. Cut to reality, the ghost was Warden Aiden all along. Broken and desperate, Bruce kneels in the office. "I'll talk. I'm willing to be a witness." With a willing witness, the interrogation is a breeze. The culprit who swapped Veronica's bullets confesses through tears, while Aiden watches coldly checkmate. Aiden orders Bruce to hide inside the prison for safety, then steps to the window. Outside, a murder of crows fills the sky. His counterattack has begun. Meanwhile, the villainous Yahello is in full panic mode. His family urges him to flee immediately, fearing Aiden is closing in. But every move is watched by Aiden through a crystal ball. The warden locks down the prison and commands his crows to give the fleeing noble a hard time. In the shadows, a rat is caught red-handed. It's a spy for Daly, the Red Witch, who mocks Aiden from afar, doubting his legendary reputation. Daly isn't falling in line. She's prepared a surprise to test the warden's true strength. In the forest, a trap lies waiting. Inside, Veronica's werewolf senses flare up. She smells the killing intent aimed at Aiden. She screams at the guards, "Let me out! He's in danger!" The guards hesitate, but head guard Flora steps in with the keys. "Let her go. I'll take full responsibility." The release sends the prison into chaos. Faye the succubus seizes the moment, claiming to be the warden's girlfriend, and spreading wild gossip. Back on the escape route, Yahello gallops desperately, but Aiden's crows swarm him, turning his getaway into a humiliating struggle. Suddenly, a rider catches up. The pursuer smirks as he closes in. "Running away before you sign the arrest warrant, young master?" No time for talk. Steel flashes. The pursuer strikes, impaling Yahello's horse and sending the villain crashing into the dirt. The story begins in chaos. To protect his powerless master, the loyal servant is pinned down by wild boars, screaming desperately for Aiden to run. But escape is cut short. A gold-ranked bounty hunter named White blocks the path, bragging about his fame. Aiden stares at his broken weapon, unimpressed by the villain's narcissism. White strikes without mercy. Powerless to defend himself, Aiden is blasted back, coughing up blood in the dirt. Panic sets in as the hunter closes the distance for the kill. With a cold farewell, a massive energy beam erupts. Aiden is launched into the sky like a ragdoll by the devastating shockwave. Just in time, a blue streak cuts through the air. Veronica descends with a thunderous kick, shattering the ground with pure rage to intercept the attack. Aiden stares in shock at his loyal deputy. Veronica stands firm, telling him to chase the mastermind Jia Long while she handles the hunter alone. As Aiden retreats, the hunter explodes with fury. His overwhelming power instantly blasts Veronica back, turning the forest into a brutal battlefield. As the smoke clears, the hunter grins with a twisted realization. He recognizes Hershey's the little werewolf girl who escaped his slaughter years ago. A hidden enemy plays dirty, countering her attack by hurling a vial of purple demon potion with a sinister grin. Gotcha! A massive tree monster emerges, but Veronica is unimpressed. She unleashes a lethal strike reserved for Aiden, obliterating the beast in an instant. But the victory is short-lived. A shadow hand strikes from the darkness, leaving her screaming in agony as the rain pours down. Back to Aiden. His powerless body is failing him. He leans against a wall, gasping for air, legs trembling uncontrollably from the exertion. Peeking from the shadows, Aiden spots the noble Brad Jia Long throwing a tantrum in the street, furious that the bounty hunter failed to finish the job. Panic blinds the Brad Jia Long run straight into a speeding carriage. As he rides in a pool of blood, Aiden watches calmly, adjusting his hat. Aiden steps up, gun drawn, and publicly exposes Jia Long's crimes, framing the innocent and ordering assassinations. The crowd gasps as the barrel locks onto the noble's head. Click empty chamber. Before Jia Long can mock him, Aiden drops the useless weapon and unleashes a blinding flash spell directly from his palm. A heavy blow strikes the blinded noble. Jia Long collapses, screaming hysterically, "You're destroying me over the death of a nameless peasant?" The crowd recognizes the warden. Jia Long screams murderer, hoping for a rescue, but Aiden stands over him, cold and unmoved by the theatrics. Steel against skin, Aiden silences him. But the cornered rat bites back. Jia Long activates a hidden rune device, snapping a lethal dagger into his hand. Bang! A bullet tears through the air, silencing the confrontation instantly. As the body hits the floor, Aiden locks eyes with the shooter in the crowd. He knows exactly who pulled the trigger. Senator Anthony plays a ruthless card, publicly sacrificing his son Jia Long to save his own political career, framing it as a noble act of justice. The old fox puts on a tearful performance, fooling the crowd completely. Aiden watches the charade coldly until a sudden explosion shatters the piece. Sensing something amiss, Aiden walks away. The fallen enemy glares with bloodshot eyes, muttering threats, but the battle is already decided. Amidst the smoke and scorched earth, Aiden stands in his suit, surveying the devastation and noting the ferocity of the battle. The blue-haired assassin begs for mercy, appealing to morality. Aiden rejects it coldly. Why save someone who tried to kill him? Pinned by a tree, the assassin watches Aiden use a sword instead of magic. He realizes in horror, the hero has no mana. It was all a mind game. Trouble handled, Aiden leaps down gracefully. His focus shifts to Veronica, and he calls out her name anxiously in the forest. Rustling in the bushes catches his eye. Aiden approaches and freezes. Veronica is hiding there, exposed and terrified. The air turns thick with awkwardness. Aiden tries to help, thinking she's hurt, while a blushing Veronica desperately covers herself and screams at him to stop. Ignoring the embarrassment, Aiden hands her his coat. There's no time for modesty. They need to get out of this dangerous place immediately. Walking through town, Veronica opens up. Her genetic defect prevents full transformation, a flaw that made her a laughingstock among werewolves back home. Memories of bullying in Silver City surface. Veronica feels defeated, rejected everywhere. She finds survival in this prejudiced city exhausting. Aiden suggests going home, but she shakes her head bitterly. She left with big boasts. She can't return in shame. Suddenly, familiar faces appear ahead. Veronica freezes, eyes widening in disbelief. Could that be the villagers from her hometown? She remembers their warm farewell and her vow to return successful. Those promising words now weigh on her like a heavy stone. But the villagers rush to hug her, bursting with joy. No blame, just pure relief and love. Tears instantly well up in Veronica's eyes. They walked for weeks to save her from prison. When Aiden chimes in, the protective villagers mistake him for the evil warden, raising tensions. Snobbish nobles pass by, mocking the beggars. Ashamed, the villagers try to leave quickly to avoid embarrassing Veronica, the city girl. Seeing her family humiliated and leaving, Veronica stands paralyzed. Aiden steps in, dropping a hint. "Don't you have that prize money in your coat?" She pulls out a handful of blinding gold pounds. The massive fortune shocks everyone. Aiden grins. Perfect time to treat everyone to the finest meal in the city. Veronica steps into freedom, greeted by Aiden and a full squad. He claims it's for a meal, but as soldiers ready their rifles, the gawking crowd realizes this is a threat and scatters in terror. As the crowd disperses, Veronica stands tall, basking in the respect. Aiden, his job done, quietly walks away. She pulls up her scarf, sniffing the food in her arms, a small, private moment of peace. Back in court, the appeal goes smoother than anyone expected. Aiden's psychological warfare worked perfectly, as if the outcome was rigged from the start. Senator Anthony sits in stony silence. To save his own political career, the old fox ruthlessly sacrificed his adopted son, silencing the scandal with blood. With one gunshot, the dirty secrets are buried. Anthony resumes his public facade of righteousness, leaving the dark truth of that rainy night forever in the shadows. The real players review the game. Melophilia, the goddess of conspiracy, saw through it all. She helped Aiden win. Now it's time for him to pay up and deliver her requested items. The angel reveals her fangs, warning Aiden, to survive here, he must use these monster prisoners as tools. The brighter the light, the deeper the shadow. That is the rule of Rose Prison. Cut to daily prison life. Daily, the witch, who usually sleeps till noon, is up early and waiting in line. Her unusual behavior immediately raises eyebrows among the inmates. So that's her game. Daily feigns a stomachache, all to get her hands on the fancy cake Aiden authorized. While others complain, the chef serves up the special patient meal. Daily smirks as fools try to offer her their slop, enjoying her prize. The guard exposes her gluttony from the night before, but she doesn't care, walking away with her cake. Meanwhile, in the library, just as Asina sighs in disappointment, the librarian reveals a new arrival. Before she can react, the glasses girl lunges forward like a starving wolf. It's a best-selling bestiary. While they fangirl over it, a creepy greeting echoes from the depths. A blindfolded prisoner, heavily sealed, seems to sense the disturbance. The translator is Jalala, a cute wood elf. She tries to introduce herself, but the prisoner reaches through the bars and pulls her into a crushing, sticky embrace. Talk about a heavy greeting. Faye the succubus is enjoying a shower when Aiden barges in. She assumes he brought cash, but his cold reply, "The money isn't for you," instantly kills the steamy mood. Faye doesn't want money. She wants revenge. In exchange for her help, Aiden hands over the 2 inmates who bullied her. His only condition, keep them alive. While the succubus gets her revenge, Anthony goes off the deep end. Desperate to destroy Aiden, he decides to contact the terrifying Ant Queen and reveal her daughter is in this prison. The seeds of hatred are sown. A storm of monsters is about to descend upon Rose Prison. A new chapter begins, focusing on Jalala, the innocent-looking wood elf. But don't let the cuteness fool you. In this prison, no one is simple. Who would guess this wide-eyed little girl is the ruthless bomber who blew up an entire noble drug plantation? She's not here to look cute. She's a dangerous radical hiding in plain sight. In the corridor, Jalala the elf feigns illness, coughing weakly. As soon as the guard leaves, a smug grin replaces her pain. Being cute has its privileges in this prison. Meanwhile, the self-proclaimed savior Angel tries to communicate with a screaming blue monster. Blinded by arrogance, she fails to see the danger. Panicked, Angel calls Aiden over, still bluffing about her skills. But a second later, reality hits hard. Her confidence shatters into pure shock. To her, everything has a spirit, but this monster is a void. The suffocating emptiness pierces her mental defenses, leaving her trembling in terror. Even Aiden isn't safe. The creature lashes out, slicing his hand. He hides the injury calmly, but he knows this thing is a ticking time bomb. Aiden resorts to reading Cinderella to the beast. Meanwhile, outside the prison, a conspiracy brews amidst the cries of a potion merchant. Under the cover of night, the corrupt senator meets a hooded figure. To save his daughter, he's ready to sell out the prison and deal with the devil. The senator hands over the blueprints, promising to weaken the anti-magic array. Their goal is aligned: destroy Aiden's rule at all costs. It's a pincer attack. The senator will drain the guards from the outside, while the Ant Queen infiltrates to ignite a riot from within. Deal sealed, the figure injects a pink serum. Bones crack and shift as the terrifying Ant Queen morphs into a disguised human form. Now Mary, her eyes burn with a mother's madness. She will infiltrate the fortress and unleash hell to bring her daughter home. Meanwhile, prisoner files are updated in the archives. In this deceptive calm, every detail is being scrutinized. Cut to the town streets. Flora buys lunch, enjoying the sun, unaware that the storm targeting her boss is about to break. Suddenly, Flora senses eyes on her. Instinct kicks and she draws her gun, ready to kill, expecting an assassin's ambush. It's just a suitor. Flora coldly lies, "I'm married," crushing his heart instantly as the crowd laughs at the awkward spectacle. Back in the office, Flora reports that newspapers are hailing the guards as Valkyries. This unwanted fame makes Aiden uneasy. Then, the real blow. Flora presents a high-paying offer and resigns. Aiden, though reluctant, forces a smile and lets her go. It's a domino effect. The doctor resigns too. Aiden sweats. This isn't coincidence. It's a targeted purge of his staff. The senator's poison works. The lure of high salaries spreads like a virus. Guards line up to quit. Loyalty is crumbling. Panic sets in among the remaining staff. With manpower depleted, the prison teeters on anarchy. Aiden is pushed to the brink. Chaos erupts as the female guards riot and quit, leaving Flora helpless to stop the mass exodus. Aiden slams the desk, silencing the room, and guilt trips the fleeing guards with their duty to the city. The rebellious guards fall silent, heads bowed in shame, crushed by the warden's overwhelming authority. In the rain, Aiden realizes this isn't just a resignation wave, it's a calculated revenge plot orchestrated from the shadows. The scene shifts to the desolate prison. Aiden is now a commander without an army, facing the witch-filled fortress alone. The cells erupt in chaos. Realizing the guards are gone, the monster inmates bang on the doors, hungry for food and freedom. Standing in the empty square, Aiden and Veronica realize the cold truth: the missing guards are never coming back. A naive girl shows up for a job interview, but before Veronica can react, a guard rushes out screaming the riot has begun. Smelling weakness, the monsters roar with excitement, knowing there are fewer than 100 guards left to stop them. Terrified inmates cower in corners until the top hat silhouette appears, and they scream for the warden's protection. Veronica draws her blade, but a tiger inmate instantly recognizes her and mocks Aiden for hiring such a crybaby. Veronica silences the mockery with brutal efficiency, pummeling the inmates and proving her strength with her fists. She flaunts her new badge, warning her former cellmates that the hierarchy has flipped. She's the guard now. Before the dust settles, Doug the bureaucrat arrives to slash the budget, leaving Veronica fuming at his audacity. Even with dangerous monsters, like Medusa behind bars, the bureaucrats only care about cutting costs. Running this prison is a money pit. The anti-magic array alone burns through a fortune every single month. The bureaucrat leaves with a smug, "I trust you," dumping the mess on Aiden, who stands firm despite the looming crisis. Night falls, and Veronica steps out in the deputy warden's uniform, shocking inmates who never thought Aiden would share power. While inmates mock Aiden for fleeing, he coldly orders the ringleaders dragged out for 20 lashes each. Hearing a werewolf will deliver the punishment, the inmates scream in terror as they are dragged away to face their sentence. The atmosphere in the hall is grim as new orders are given. Isabella takes Sector 1, Haley takes Sector 2. Prisoners react with fear or annoyance, knowing the hammer is about to drop. Inside, Asina, the necromancer, is indifferent to escape, but this tigerkin, Philippa, is a different breed, a combat specialist requiring heavy guard surveillance. Welcome to Rose Prison, home to the most dangerous witches, ruled by a man with zero magic. Blood drips from torture devices as eyes watch from the shadows. Isabella lays down the law immediately. Under these strict rules allowing only 10 inmates out at a time, the prisoners are completely subdued, terrified to make a move. Outside the walls, Isabella boasts to a new recruit. Recommended by Flora, this gray-haired rookie is starry-eyed, fully dedicated to serving Lord Aiden. The rookie gazes at the magnificent prison with excitement, but the moment is cut short as a prisoner transport carriage thunders and more work has arrived. Haley, Sector 2 chief, explodes in anger. They are short-staffed, yet dumping more low-level trash on her. Inside, the new prisoner curls up in despair. Fresh in the cell, the lamb is immediately targeted. The veteran in pink flaunts her 8 prison stints and claims the warden is her boy toy, asserting dominance instantly. Just as the veteran bullies the rookie into submission, flames erupt outside the window. This isn't a campfire, the prison is burning. Alarms scream. The fire spreads wildly in the wind, sending guards into a panic. Isabella stares in shock. A full-blown crisis has erupted. This is no accident. The prisoners were waiting for this. Monsters rally amidst the chaos, while Melophilia watches coldly from her cell. The situation is spiraling out of control. Demons dive bomb the yard, and terrified guards break ranks and flee. Melophilia analyzes the collapse. With Flora gone and trust fragile, this is a calculated takedown. Ginny laughs at the chaos, but the wise know this is just the opening move. Melophilia smirks. The pawns are moving, but the true mastermind hasn't played their hand yet. Just as the monsters roar and the defense crumbles, a stone pillar crashes down. Dust clears to reveal him walking through this hell's cape as if taking a stroll. Facing the brawl of monsters and rioters, Aiden elegantly waves his cane. Good afternoon, ladies. Even against dangerous lizard men, his presence is overwhelming. Interlude, meanwhile, in a lavish setting resembling a parallel world, the style shifts, hinting at the protagonist's future surrounded by admirers. A new chapter unfolds. Light pierces the darkness. Guards patrol the narrow corridors, but the flames of violence still burn fiercely in the corners. The crackdown begins. Guards salute with trembling hands, but Aiden is visibly annoyed. He only stepped out for a cup of tea, and they nearly lost the prison. He is not amused. The blue-haired tunneler screams death threats, but her neighbors just mock her. Give it up. She's practically Aiden's daughter, a privileged pet, get it? The so-called fatherly love is actually brutal brainwashing. Aiden pats the monster girl's head, commanding her like a daughter. See those people? Kill them all. Flashback time. The woman they call Mother faces an entire army without flinching. As soldiers scream heretic, she charges a purple energy, obsessed, muttering, "She's mine." It's a slaughter. She calls it her masterpiece as purple spikes erupt, skewering soldiers instantly. This isn't a fight. It's a one-sided cleanup. Meanwhile, the black-haired girl screams in pure agony, clutching her head. That energy is invading her mind, tearing at her soul. You can feel the pain just looking at her. Back in prison, the mood snaps. Aiden stares at the harpy prisoner, awkwardly pointing out her pants ripped when she transformed. Serious tension instantly deflates into a wardrobe malfunction. Let the chaos begin. The snake lady is chilling in her cell when clang the door swings open on its own. Her eyes pop. She can't believe this is happening. Prisoners flood the courtyard. Stunned, the gates are actually open. Aiden acts like a manic tour guide, camera in hand, grinning, run for it. Freedom is right there. That smile is a trap. Ophelia the vampire is sweating bullets. Others urge her to fly out, but she remembers Aiden's torture too well. She refuses point blank. You go? I'm not being the first guinea pig. Since no one's moving, enter the prop. A giant rooster charges in today's Pathfinder. Someone waves a spoon yelling it's lunch, turning the scene into total chaos. The combat chicken becomes the test subject, sprinting straight for the open gate. Prisoners watch in horror, pointing, "Look! The chicken is actually making it out." The rooster runs right through the magic circle without a scratch. The crowd erupts, cheering wildly. It made it. It's safe. Everyone charge. And, splat, the rooster instantly explodes into fried chicken. The cheerleaders freeze in shock. Turns out the magic trap had a delay. Talk about a buzzkill. It's the work of Isabella, the Sector 1 warden. This magic freak booby-trapped the whole exit and playfully asks them to guess how many. Someone complains? She blasts him instantly. If there are traps, we need fodder. The blue-haired boss is ruthless, ordering his gang to grab weaker prisoners as human minesweepers. Don't waste time, throw them to trigger the circles. Some winged idiot tries to fly over, but hits a wall. The twin wardens intercept him midair. Blades flash, blood sprays, and he's taken out before he can even scream. The twin swordsmen, Haley and Ginny, block the path with cold stares. Warden Emma Weil yells a warning too. Go back to your cells or die as cannon fodder. This isn't an escape, it's a slaughterhouse. Just as panic sets in, the real boss arrives. The arrogant beastman warrior suddenly drops to his knees, trembling before three towering figures. Princess Austin. I can't believe you're here. Whispers ripple through the crowd as they recognize the blonde high ponytail. Austin Marbaugh, the orc princess. Even the tough guys are kneeling. Her aura just froze the room. Her subordinate excitedly asks if they're breaking out, but Austin stays chill. She crosses her arms, watching like it's a show. Relax. I have a non-aggression pact with Aiden. We're just here for the entertainment. The purple-haired mentor points to the magic circle, hyping up the rookies by claiming they possess the bloodline of city-destroying demon gods, leaving them in awe. By night, she plots against Aiden under a monster-filled sky. By day, she puts on a smile, conning prisoners into kitchen duty to cover her tracks. The blue-haired girl gets bonked unconscious by a giant hand. Meanwhile, the red-haired witch proudly declares herself a gold medal brawler to snag the job, only to be scolded by Asina. Aiden fills the librarian spot, while Daly watches suspiciously as powerful inmates fight for scraps. In the shadows, ominous figures in top hats take their positions. According to the blueprints, the prison has a blind spot. But strategy aside, the mysterious mother only cares if her monster daughter is locked up there. Aiden just finishes his class when the mercenary, nose twitching like a hound, storms in and points at the barrel, claiming she's found the hidden alcohol. It's Jean Jia, the butcher of the north, desperate for a drink. Aiden smiles and points to the wasteland. Want the wine? Plow this land for crops first. At the mention of alcohol, Jean Jia's eyes light up. She eagerly accepts the mission, completely oblivious that she's just signed up for hard labor, as Aiden smiles. Aiden drops the bomb. The land is too big for one person. Jean Jia sweats, realizing she'll have to recruit other dangerous inmates, while a spy listens outside. While the war machine is conned into farming, the mysterious mother soothes her daughter. The girl's eyes glow red, an army of ants ready to swarm at her command. This innocent-looking girl is labeled Wendigo in the files, an S-class man-eating monster hiding in a child's skin, the ultimate weapon. Chapter 26. The sunset bathes the prison walls in blood-red light. A new storm is brewing between the warden and his witch prisoners, as hidden currents move beneath a heavy guard. Amidst tearing sounds, the mysterious Mother Mary disguises herself as a human. Since force won't work, she plans to find an insider to dismantle the prison from within. She locks onto her target, Ophelia, the vampire princess. Fresh off a failed escape attempt and seething with rage, she's the perfect weak point to exploit. In her cell, Ophelia complains about the pig blood when a clod of dirt knocks her bowl over. Dinner is ruined, and the vampire princess explodes in anger. Mary steps in, only to become the target of Ophelia's rage. Fangs out, the vampire becomes a blur, lunging straight for her throat to claim a new dinner. Just as Ophelia goes for the kill, Mary smiles calmly. With a few words, she points out the deadly curse mark on the vampire's neck, freezing her in her tracks. Instead of fighting back, Mary taps her lips and lifts the curse. Ophelia stares in shock as long-lost magic power surges back into her body, a miraculous gift. Mary extends an offer with a smile. Join my team. Meanwhile, Aiden stands in a freezing underground chamber prepared by Isabella, readying his own secret weapon. To prevent inmates from sniffing out the plan, Aiden and his Snakeman subordinates set scent-based traps in the corridor. Aiden analyzes the three prison factions: the bloodthirsty rioters, the lazy neutrals, and the model inmates who actually call this place home. His plan is ruthless but simple: fight fire with fire by organizing the model inmates to crush the rebellious ones. Meanwhile, deep in the forest outside the prison walls, a dark force is quietly gathering. A group of escaped witches plots their next move, but the purple-haired alchemist warns them to wait. The curse-breaking potion takes time. Facing doubt from the group, the new black-haired leader instantly unleashes terrifying energy to silence them. This isn't salvation. She plants deadly parasites in them, ensuring that betrayal means a painful death. Back inside, chaos erupts as guards suddenly shuffle cells, and some confused inmates are even told they're being released. Aiden watches coldly from above, observing the panic below. Everything is proceeding exactly according to his script. Some troublemakers try to cite Aiden's previous promises, but head guard Isabella instantly crushes their dissent. The riders are forced into the worst cells in the back, but these fools think being grouped together is a chance to rebel. Their grin fades as they check the map. They've been placed right next to the Black Mark Zone, home to S-class monsters. A sudden, unearthly scream from the next cell turns the arrogant riders' bravado into pure terror. The smarter inmates in the front start thinking, the outside world is chaos, but here they have food and safety. Why escape? This is Aiden's open conspiracy: create a massive gap in living conditions to force the neutral faction to his side. Next, he handpicks two key leaders from those seeking stability: the strategist Aya and the mercenary Jean Jia. This is a promotional insert featuring characters from another series. As the new day begins, guards loudly summon Jean Jia, and other inmates immediately mock him for becoming the warden's lapdog. Rumors fly that the warden's so-called outdoor training is just a fancy way of recruiting cannon fodder to die. But the sharp ones see the truth. Aiden isn't conscripting victims. He's buying loyalty with privileges to build a private army. Aiden sits on his throne, brainwashing the crowd by calling them chosen leaders against the rebels. But some prisoners aren't buying it, realizing leader is just a fancy word for warden's lackey. Aya remembers the slaughter of her mercenary squad. Weighing the odds, she decides sticking with Aiden is the safest bet. It's a pragmatic choice: survival over pride. Hearing about booze and jobs, the drunkard Jean Jia practically glows with excitement. But in the shadows, a dark-haired woman watches coldly, planning to use these fickle prisoners for her own ambitious game. Flashback time. This woman used beggars for human experiments. Daily, furious, blasts her away with magic, severing their bond and expelling her from the witches' assembly. Daily shows no mercy, unleashing another blast of magic. The woman screams in terror, begging for forgiveness before being hurled like a ragdoll into the forbidden abyss. Surviving the fall, she didn't die, she evolved. Amidst monster attacks and lightning strikes, she mastered the secret arts of the gods, emerging darker and stronger. With her forbidden bioweapon arts, she now looks down on everyone. Back in reality, bounty hunter Carol gets her gear back, confused and suspicious about her early release. Aya's profile shows she's the brains, not the brawn. Funny enough, she had to be locked up with Jean Jia because separating them caused absolute chaos. The guard warns her to stay out of trouble, but Carol smells a rat. No one leaves Rose prison this easily. There has to be a catch. She originally got locked up for punching a guard who mocked her. Now, Aiden's sudden mercy implies a motive. The gold coin on the table screams business deal. In the cafeteria, the traitor student finds Daly. Daly feigns surprise, sarcastically asks about her being a mother, and even offers to help her escape passive aggression at its finest. Daly laughs, claiming she loves prison life. The student calls her bluff, noting she's excluded from Aiden's inner circle. To prove her sincerity, Daly reveals her magic cards. Meanwhile, Aiden is planning a prison farm potatoes and booze. He has the manpower, but there's a snag. No one can leave to buy the seeds. The prisoners are shocked Aiden's letting them go shopping. Aiden flashes a calculated smile of trust and assigns a wood elf expert to help them. Standing outside the gates, the prisoners feel like they're dreaming. Aiden waves goodbye, casually adding a threat. Come back soon, or the magic collars will blow your heads off. The traitor reveals her forbidden art, prosperity. It forces rapid biological growth so fast that even the prison's anti-magic collars shatter under the pressure. This is the potion she peddles on the black market. It not only accelerates growth, but creates a duplicate body, a loophole to cheat Aiden's deadly contract. Back in the cafeteria, she smirks, surrounded by mutated chickens. She gives Daly an ultimatum. For the sake of their past, leave now or face the consequences. She mocks Daly for being naive, accusing her of waiting to profit from the chaos. Suddenly, shadowy figures approach the window. The atmosphere turns deadly. Chaos erupts instantly. As her minions attack Aiden's crew, the sorceress forces Daly's hand. Help me, or be labeled my accomplice. Choose now. The mastermind tosses a stack of cash with a cold glare. He orders the assassin to watch the prisoners closely. At the first sign of escape, kill them. On the file, a new target, Fox Spirit Mandy, is marked. Cut to the slums, where a crippled man watches the prisoners buying potatoes from the shadows. Jalala, the green-haired girl, smirks confidently, boasting to her friends, "My intuition is never wrong." As they venture deeper, the fox girl freezes. The anti-magic collar on her neck is loosening. They're reaching the barrier's edge. Jalala, however, just complains impatiently about the long detour. Suddenly, Jalala gets hit by a box, acting clumsy. But Aiden sees right through it. A 170-year-old elf suddenly acting like a ditzy child. She is definitely up to something. Jalala plays the victim, sobbing about being bullied. Then her tone shifts. She flashes the gold Aiden gave them and incites the group. With this money, we can escape. The fox girl eagerly agrees, mapping out an escape route. But the purple-haired guy snaps out of it, shattering the fantasy. Aiden let us come here. It's going too smoothly. Realization strikes Jalala. Getting lost earlier was no accident. Cold sweat runs down the purple-haired girl's face as she understands. From the very beginning, this was Aiden's trap. Sure enough, archers lined the rooftops, cold arrows aimed straight at them. Aiden fed them false hope only to crush it with despair, ensuring they never dare to rebel again. Terrified, the prisoners cry and rush back to work. In his office, Aiden teaches the little girl a lesson. Treats alone don't make a loyal dog. First, they must learn fear. Suddenly, alarms blare. A massive purple monster erupts from the cafeteria amidst thunder. As reports of a riot flood in, Aiden frowns. Where is Daly, the witch supposed to be guarding that sector? Aiden quickly composes himself. No one is trying to escape, which means this is an organized riot. Suspecting Daly's involvement, he commands, "Identify the ringleaders. I'll handle them personally." The cafeteria is a bloodbath. Amidst the chaos, a mysterious witch offers a prisoner a chance to join her side. This isn't just a riot, it's an infiltration by external forces. The scene shifts to the shadows. The antagonist here is a genius witch named Melahima. Even the red-haired witch Lamia fears her ambition, warning her subordinates not to underestimate her. On the other side of the battlefield, Daly is surrounded. The snake woman mocks her for being Aiden's lapdog, but Daly, furious, yells back, "Only my secret technique can break the contract. Shut up if you want to live." Daly reveals the cruel truth. The secret technique strips the soul from the body, leaving a husk. She unleashes a lightning blast, instantly crushing the blue-haired lackey, terrifying his allies. The flashback shows a terrifying Lamia wielding a knife, but reality takes a comedic turn. A giant purple rat falls from the sky. The fierce women instantly panic, screaming and scrambling away. The chaos escalates. A winged demon lashes out indiscriminately, pummeling everyone. The purple-haired girl and rabbit-eared girl get bashed before they can react, screaming in pain. The demon panics internally while throwing punches. "Hurt Melahima, and I'm dead. Stop, and I'm caught." He forces himself to knock out his clumsy allies just to save them. The main guard force arrives, and smart prisoners retreat. But a group of brainless monster leaders, blinded by rage, roar and charge the guards, completely misreading the situation. Facing the roaring monsters, the fully armed guards close in. Watching coldly from above, Aiden orders the ringleaders isolated. It's time to end this farce. The trio returns from their mission. Under Aiden's gaze, they hide their fear and lie through their teeth, claiming everything went smoothly. They try to take the reward and run, but Aiden uses the fine wine as bait, effectively chaining them to his next scheme. Back in the cells, relief is short-lived. The monster inmates mock them as cowards, and the air instantly thickens with hostility. The labeled loyal dog lights the fuse. Former allies turn into bitter enemies, and the cell block erupts into chaos. The riot begins. Without a word, the bloodthirsty beasts lunge straight at Aiden's newly recruited labor squad. Facing the vicious harpy, the girls don't flinch. They spot a weak point in her shoulder and deliver a punishing kick. Carmilla, the dragon blood mercenary, joins the fray. She fights for coin, not loyalty, and she's ready to crush anyone in her way. The brawl escalates. A pig-headed brute tries to use his weight, only to be blasted away by a well-timed energy wave. Magic explodes everywhere. The horned demon takes a full combo and just laughs maniacally. He's absolutely insane. He's too tough. He stands up after taking 3 tons of pressure, and their confidence instantly turns into sheer terror. But their side has heavy hitters too. The blonde powerhouse delivers a thunderous slap, sending blood flying instantly. Even crazier Jolai the glutton stops holding back. He burns off his fat and awakens his true form, revealing the blood of a giant. The giant's power ends the fight. The riders fall silent, lining up obediently to face Aiden's final judgment. Aiden steps in and drops the bomb. The labor program starts tomorrow. The obedient get fresh air. The troublemakers go into lockdown. This was his goal all along. Using the riot as an excuse, he activates the barrier, locking the rebellion in a cage of their own making. It was all planned. Flora, the former secretary, played her role perfectly from the shadows, manipulating everyone into Aiden's palm. The riot is suppressed, but the guards notice something suspicious about the new inmate, Mary. A new storm is brewing. In his office, Aiden interrogates Daly, the Red Witch. He suspects she had a hand in fueling the chaos. The witch plays the victim, but Aiden isn't buying it. Every clue points to a connection with that mysterious new prisoner. If words won't work, action will. Aiden deploys Veronica, using her wolf senses to sniff out the real rat hiding in the shadows. The prisoner digs while grilling the corrupt guard behind her. She's losing patience with his slow progress and threatens to expose their dirty deal to the warden if he doesn't deliver soon. Green-haired Evange pumps herself up for her first day of labor. During a break, a shadow approaches. Remembering Lord Aiden's advice, she pulls out a book, hoping to make a friend. She tries to read Snow White to a blonde girl, but something is off. Evange reads like a machine, devoid of emotion, and casually crushes a bug without blinking. She's broken. Veronica watches with a heavy heart. Evange isn't a killer. She's a biological weapon crafted by the mad Ant Queen. Horrific experiments have stripped her of her humanity. Her insides are a nightmare-tangled organs and acidic blood that melts surgical tools. Regular doctors can't save her. Only the Ant Queen who created this monster could possibly reverse it. The horror runs deeper. Masked figures discuss more children tortured just like Evange. Meanwhile, in the cafeteria, the prisoners line up for food, but the cat girl Jalala is suspiciously missing. While others joke about photosynthesis, the hulking Jean Jia falls silent. He remembers his fallen comrades and their dream of adopting war orphans, a dream now buried under a pile of corpses. Cut to the guest house, where the foreign VIPs enjoy a lavish breakfast. The orange-haired woman bets on the food with her partner, masking their tension with a friendly facade. Bedlam in the cafeteria. Prisoners collapse, clutching their stomachs and foaming at the mouth. A terrified guard scrambles into Aiden's office screaming, "The food is poisoned!" Promotional artwork displaying the main cast in a stylish pose. Chaos reigns as guards scramble to find a doctor, but the prison is woefully understaffed. Aya, the purple-haired prisoner, looks like she's fading fast. Just as everyone thinks Aya is gone, Aiden calmly checks her pulse. He silences the panic with a cold stare. "Stop screaming! It's just a mild hallucinogen. She's not dead." Since it's not lethal poison, it's an inside job. Aiden's mind races as he orders a lockdown and search, specifically recruiting Mia and her photographic memory to hunt down the mole. The conspiracy unravels. The Red Witch approaches the cursed mage daily, revealing the chaos is a distraction to break her contract with Aiden. Daily plays it cool, but she's ready to betray him. The betrayal is in motion. Ignoring Evange's cries, Daily accepts the prosperity potion from the witch. Her eyes turn cold as she straps on chemical tanks and grips her blade, ready for war. Meanwhile, Veronica leads a brutal search. Instead of poison, she finds a vibrating crystal, terrifying a purple-haired prisoner who fears Lord Aiden's gaze more than death itself. The masterminds analyze Aiden's weakness. The bookish necromancer mocks the Red Witch. Aiden's soul is shielded by holy water, blocking dark magic, but she's noticed something else. The necromancer adjusts her glasses and drops the bombshell. Aiden might have a powerful soul, but his body is crippled. He's been using a cane because his right leg is useless. He can't run. If he can't run, they have a chance. Terrified of his instant kill magic, but desperate for freedom, the Red Witch places the final dispelling potion on the table. It's time to gamble everything. Veronica is mortified by the teasing, her face flushing bright red. She stubbornly yells that she's not going just to see Aiden, but her embarrassment betrays her true feelings. Just as she's wallowing in self-pity, her werewolf senses kick in. Veronica's face goes pale. She recognizes the scent from her military training. It's the unmistakable smell of death. It's the legendary corpse blossom. Evange is violently ill, and the doctor confirms the worst. The only one capable of smuggling in such forbidden poison is the Ant Queen. Bad news piles up. Evange has gone berserk and vanished. Aiden realizes it's the Ant Queen's trap and immediately triggers a level 1 alert, sending the entire prison into chaos. Promotional page. The story continues with the riot in the next chapter. Blue energy barriers rise from the ground as the prison goes into full lockdown. The guards stare in shock. This level of defense means something catastrophic is happening. Guards try to maintain order, only to realize with horror that the prisoners have regained their magic. Chaos erupts, and at Mary's command, the riot officially begins. Explosions rock the halls as prisoners scream for freedom. The commander, hearing the damage reports, finally realizes the new kids admitted today were Trojan horses planted by the Ant Queen. The commander keeps a cool head, rapidly reorganizing the defense. Flora is sent to activate the anti-magic wards, Isabella on power, and Veronica is tasked with guarding the vital central control. They think they only need to hold out for 15 minutes for reinforcements, but a silver-haired bounty hunter pulls out a rocket launcher, ready to throw gasoline on the fire. Boom! The rocket explodes against the barrier like fireworks. Aiden watches the provocation, but remains focused on the bigger threat inside the red-haired witch Daily. Before entering Central Control, an ally slips Flora a secret note. Daily watches this from the shadows, her suspicious nature kicking in. She decides to wait and see what trump card Aiden is hiding. The former lackey begs on her knees to join the escape, but the Ant Queen coldly rejects her. Dismissing her as dead weight, the queen vanishes into the chaotic sea of rioting prisoners. The prisoners try to blast through the doors, but their magic is dampened and the mithril gates hold firm. Desperate, they start summoning monsters to brute force their way out. The guards try to negotiate, offering reduced sentences if they surrender. But the prisoners, blinded by rage, refuse to listen, screaming for vengeance for their poisoned sisters. The battle intensifies. Desperate to escape, some prisoners suggest abandoning the wounded, a cold-blooded suggestion that immediately sparks internal conflict. Loyalty prevails as they distribute power-up potions and blast open the cell doors. With a deafening explosion, the army of prisoners floods out like a tidal wave. Seeing the prisoners break out, Central Control doesn't hesitate to unleash their trump card. With a mechanical roar, a massive alchemical lion rises from the ground to block the mob. The prison turns into a battlefield. Elemental puppets open fire, thrust rays sweep the hall, and the mechanical lion tears through the crowd, swatting prisoners aside like flies. The guards switch to tranquilizer rounds to take them alive. Amid the chaos, the battle-hungry prisoner Jean Jia gets excited, volunteering to charge into the danger zone just to teach someone a lesson. Outside, the battle rages, but inside, business comes first. The blue-haired woman negotiates with the top-hat man amidst bear traps, discussing a price to deploy elite fighters to crush the riot. Deal struck. The man hands over a heavy check and mentions a special mission. Seeing the money, her eyes literally turn into dollar signs as she connects the dots to Senator Anthony's son. Something's wrong. Surrounded by hostile inmates with no guards in sight, she barely has time to react before a massive fireball explodes in her face. It's an ambush. Boom! The explosion clears the field. A man glowing with golden energy steps out, arrogant and calm. His ally is confused. Jean Jia is supposed to be a warrior, so where did this magic come from? Everyone retreats in fear. This is Jean Jia, the butcher who soloed 1,000 vampire nights. Now, he faces his old acquaintance, the Ant Queen, ready to settle the score with violence. The Ant Queen remains smug, trusting her daughter's power. A massive purple serpent lunges, but Daily the Red Witch reacts instantly, casting a binding spell to restrain the beast. Bound by magic, the purple-haired man screams betrayal. But Daily warns him. Jean Jia bears the mark of the ancient god Baal. Hurting him only makes him stronger. Sure enough, the binding fails. Jean Jia shatters the spell, fueled by a tragic memory, the promise he made to save the village children from the vampires. The flashback stings. He was told a generous woman adopted the orphans, but now the truth hits him. The savior was the Ant Queen, and she used them all as lab rats. Rage explodes. Knowing the children were experimented on, the blue-haired woman screams for Melihima's blood. This isn't just a prison break anymore, it's a mission of vengeance. Back to the chaos. Lasers fire, beasts roar. In this prison of witches and monsters, every grudge is boiling over into total war. A giant mechanical lion corners the squad. Panic sets in until Daily steps up. The Red Witch summons a massive wit spell, clashing head-on with the metal beast. Impressive. The puppets shatter, and the lion is reduced to scrap metal. As the chief instructor of the witch assembly, Daily dismantles summons with surgical precision. Guards retreat in panic. The control room is baffled. How are they using magic with collars on? The grim answer: Ant Queen's potions force their magic levels to overflow the suppression limit. It's a suicide run. The potion grants power, but rots the brain. The prisoners don't care. They're willing to sacrifice their minds just to break the line and kill the guards. The path is a death trap of bunkers and spikes. But the commander just smiles. She knows the layout. She orders a three-pronged assault, swarming the central gate with sheer numbers. Daily directs the flow, but the true goal is revealed: kill Aiden. Evange, the blonde biological weapon, hears the order and charges forward. She'll destroy anything for her mother. The green-haired assassin is riddled with bullets. Before she can recover, Evange is there. Gun to the head, cold eyes, trigger pulled. Bang. No mercy. Evange's shield holds, but trapped inside, Jean Jia is screaming to be hurt. The seal is too strong. He needs pain and injury to trigger his power and break free. Desperate, the girl finds no weapon to help him. Suddenly, energy explodes. The seal shatters. Above the city, a massive lightning array forms. The riot has spiraled into a catastrophe. The weather turns violent outside. Inside, the top hat man gets suspicious. The necromancer isn't in the library. She's up to something. In the shadows, the witch swirls her potion with a cold stare. She predicts death and demands a soul trade from Aiden. Chaos erupts in solitary. Prisoners scramble to find their crew, until a desperate scream and a violent crash echo from behind a locked door. Desperate to escape, the prisoners make a crazy bet: release the cursed Wendigo to clear the path. It's a high-stakes gamble. The ringleader thinks she can control the beast, but guards intercept them. Too late, the monster is loose, roaring with wild instinct. The prisoners thought they were hunters, but the guards are monsters. Panic spreads as the beast men realize they're outmatched. Facing total defeat, the prisoners play their last card. They shove the Ant Queen's steroid potion down the monster's throat in a blind panic. The potion triggers a massive explosion, blowing the doors off. Amidst the smoke, something screams in agony. It's mutating rapidly. The beast morphs into a grotesque nightmare. The potion was a trap. While the prison rots, a warrior faces a deadly duel on a distant battlefield. Flashback to the war. It's a massacre. The soldiers realize too late there are no reinforcements. They were sent there to die. Even facing death, the commander screams attack. Under the storm, a lone warrior throws a final punch against an entire army. A giant hand crushes down the weight of Jean Jia's sins. Back in the prison, the pink-haired girl gets slammed into a railing, screaming in pain. Dazed and hallucinating, she gets a boot to the face. Her friend tries to drag her to safety, but her pants get snagged as the explosion hits. Safe for a second, she breaks down. She swears she saw Aiden defeated and assaulted by 80 prisoners. Her imagination is wild. The blue-haired girl shrugs. She joins in too. But now, toxic fog fills the air. It's run or mutate as the prison turns into a living hell. No place to hide. The group sprints through lightning-filled corridors. Stopping now means ending up as a stain on the wall. The riot escalates. It's not just magic anymore. A heavy combat mech spins its gears, smashing into the fray with crushing force. Daily's ambition is revealed. She's storming the restricted area to create an army of living weapons, like Avenge, and rule the continent. The villains are fighting each other. The redhead mocks the cultist and cuts ties. Meanwhile, soldiers are confused why retreat instead of fighting. Command is in total meltdown, with the warden missing. Yet elsewhere, a mysterious man calmly buys dinner for soldiers, grinning while the world burns. The man in the suit calmly sips his beer, completely fooling the soldiers. He lies that the riot is just a staged show to boost Aiden's fame, tricking them into standing down to isolate Aiden. In the rainy night, a truck rushes overpriced energy stones to the prison, confusing the accountant with a triple price order. By the window, a blue-haired woman watches silently, her eyes full of suspicion. Chaos erupts in the command center. The mage warns of a breach, but the top hat guy dismisses it as a drill. Only when the defense collapses do they realize this isn't a drill. They've lost control. The conspirators are sweating, forced to act under surveillance. On the front lines, guards using non-lethal weapons make the prisoners think Aiden is soft, emboldening them instantly. It's getting awkward. The rat army attacks. The Red Witch uses the swarm to trigger traps while hunting for Aiden's secrets. The city descends into chaos, screaming in panic it's a total biohazard crisis. The defense breaks, and soldiers panic leaderlessly. Suddenly, the Beast Princess steps up. With a sharp command, she stabilizes the front line amidst the chaos pure charisma. The Snake Girl confirms Aiden is alone, and the real monsters bare their fangs. Eerie whispers echo from the dark, the time has come. A purple vortex swallows a victim, and the hunt begins. Disaster in the medical room? The seemingly weak patient snaps her eyes open, erupting with purple energy. Possessed nurses and a demon army flood in the unguarded path to Aiden's office is wide open. Veronica's face pales as she realizes the medical room is unguarded. But it's too late. A massive explosion rips through the defense, and the enemy assault team charges straight for the headquarters. Facing the surging purple magic, she grips her spear tightly, standing her ground. Though her figure looks lonely, her refusal to retreat holds the line. The top hat guy suddenly orders Veronica to protect Aiden. The wolf girl is stunned. Does a powerhouse like him need protection? She has absolute, but mistaken, faith in Aiden's strength. He has amnesia and is now immortal. The top hat woman finally drops the bomb, explaining they hid the truth due to mistrust. The secret is out to show Veronica the gravity of the situation. Veronica doesn't hesitate, spinning around and sprinting back. Central Control opens the doors, but the assassins are ready. A spear slams into the ground, signaling an interception. Alarms blare. Veronica is ambushed and slammed into a wall. But she doesn't fall. Instead, her golden eyes glow. The wolf is furious. Meanwhile, a massive force begins crushing the riders. The prisoners lunge like zombies, but Veronica is fearless. Moving like a blur, she delivers bone-crushing punches, blasting the puppets out of her way instantly. Meanwhile, the monster squad is infighting. Amidst the chaos, the Fox Girl volunteers to lead. The hot-headed blonde orc stops shouting, suddenly struck by a nasty idea. The guards suddenly retreat. Before the prisoners can react, the pink fox strikes. She casts her charm technique, blanketing the field in a pink mist, and it's definitely not perfume. Soldiers inhale the mist, thinking they're fine, until chaos hits. Hallucinations take over. One mistakes his ally for an enemy, whipping his own teammate, and the defense crumbles instantly. But the plan backfires. In an all-female prison, these male-targeting pheromones just smell disgusting to straight women. Instead of being charmed, the prisoners vomit everywhere. Total awkwardness. While everyone else is retching, there's one exception. The Snake Girl is blushing and panting. Turns out the charm is super effective on her. Her preferences are now fully exposed. Pink mist swirls as the fox illusionist opens her domain. The snake-haired girl smells flowers and sees the wedding she always wanted, a sweet, deadly trap. She weeps, hugging the phantom, willing to stay. But the dream shatters. Vines strangle her. Explosions rock the ground, dragging her back to the brutal reality. The Red Witch screams betrayal, but Melophilia remains calm. She triggers the bugs buried inside the enemy, instantly turning the tide of battle. Interlude: an adventurer's wallet is empty, much like the devastation after battle, but the real story is far from over. Flashback to a stormy night. A young girl is brought to a cold, damp cave. Hide here for a day, she was told. The snake woman walks away, ignoring the girl's screams. In the dark, a massive monster approaches with the thunder, and terror swallows her whole. Eerie voices lure her. A giant hand offers bugs. The girl screams, running through the rain, squeezing into a thorny crack just to escape this hell. She runs barefoot over spikes, bleeding, crying, "You promised." But the woman above just watches coldly as she falls into a pit of blood. She crawled 6 kilometers through thorns, only to be called talentless. The bloody child reaches out, desperately calling that cold woman mom. Her birth mother taught her, to survive, call the powerful mom. She stares at the looming figure, clinging to her only chance at life. To please mom, she became a lab rat. Bandaged and broken, she endured the pain just for the empty title of first apprentice. She cried in pain, and the mentor ordered her disposal like trash. Yet on stage, her brutal sacrifice was polished into a badge of honor. She begs for a hug, knowing she's just a replacement. For that scrap of love, she vows to become perfect, no matter the cost. No magic talent? She chose the knife. She carved her own flesh to wear a face mom would love, a desperate, twisted lie. Why'd love the mask, but not me? She falls into the abyss, her heart shredded. That twisted love finally turns into endless pain. A reaper in a mask mocks her in the rain. Back again, little piggy? Her childhood nightmares manifest, surrounding her in the dark. The illusion shatters. The Red Witch daily steps in. No time for talk, she instantly turns that tentacle monster into a joke. Pure power. Battle over. The leader commands coldly, "Don't kill them." The warden wants them alive. Time to wrap this up. Suddenly, new magic circles flare up. The warden's forces aren't done yet. The real suppression is just beginning. Daily casts a spell, and the giant monster shrinks into a tiny octopus. But there's no time to relax, worse threats are right behind them. On the battlefield, the Red Witch blasts away small monsters. She senses terrifying lightning energy, a direct descendant of the ancient god Baal. The blonde powerhouse goes berserk, wrapped in lightning, screaming for blood. Before the blonde fighter can strike, the witch chants a spell, blasting a black and red magic circle. He gets swallowed by a massive energy vortex, but grits his teeth, fighting desperately to survive the crushing force. A giant labyrinth-eye tears open the sky, its godly pressure terrifying the monsters. Though the witch looks calm, she's panicking inside. This ultimate move drained her mana, and she's running on fumes. Meanwhile, the Snake Lady gets a deadly order from the deputy: release Ophelia's full power. In her room, the suppressed fox girl finally gets her chance, pushing aside her lover with bloodthirsty excitement in her eyes. Limits removed, Ophelia goes completely insane. Engulfed in flames, she spams magic like it's free, launching a barrage of fireballs like a Gatling gun, blasting everything to dust. The battlefield turns into hell. Enemies cry out for their mothers. Suddenly, the blood-crazed blue-haired demoness laughs maniacally, diving down with a glowing blade to harvest the remaining heads. Amidst the chaos, the support team outside the prison gets blocked. The hat-wearing guy mocks them calmly. "Don't worry about the defense trap. The only one I set was already triggered by a chicken." The rebel faction starts infighting as their mana runs dry. Suddenly, a grim green skull projection manifests in the air. The necromancer is finally summoning her undead army. The undead complains there aren't enough corpses. The Red Witch has no choice but to cooperate to open the portal, though she's suspicious about the so-called ant reinforcements. Cut to a horrifying scene. The black-haired demon girl stands on a pile of corpses, eyes cold. A pink tentacle instantly pierces a blonde guy's skull. It's a one-sided slaughter. It turns out to be a premeditated betrayal. The brown-haired woman realizes the soup was poisoned, but the blonde queen controls the room, coldly giving her two choices: go back or die here. As the situation spirals, two figures in the corner are worried sick. Will the promised reinforcements actually show up? Back at the prison, the Red Witch laughs at the chaos. To her, this out-of-control facility now looks like a playground ready to explode. The werewolf girl kneels, gasping for air, her primal instincts nearly taking over. Yet, even on the brink of going berserk, she suppresses her bloodlust and spares the blonde woman. The Red Witch opens a portal to save mana, but the Ant Queen tries to ditch the team and flee. This betrayal shocks everyone, sparking instant infighting. Meanwhile, the prison system marks the battlefield as a caution zone. Panicking, the green-haired girl fires at her ally, screaming in despair, "We're abandoned. I might as well kill you for credit." Chaos reigns. A prisoner tries to cast magic, but their collar triggers instantly, killing them on the spot. The survivors, seeing their ally drop dead, turn on each other, suspecting foul play. All of this is part of the plan. In the control room, officials coldly flip through files, arranging for rival prisoners to meet and manufacturing a death match. Lower the collar restrictions. With one command, the prisoner gains a burst of power and blasts their opponent to ash. The confused staff are told, "We have enough energy, time to purge the list." The hat-wearing mastermind reveals his fangs. He's using the riot to secretly liquidate all the troublemaking prisoners. From afar, the Red Witch daily senses something is off. Since when did the pacifist Aiden turn so lethal? The Red Witch notices the guards are pulling their punches with paralysis bullets, then immediately takes down a prisoner herself. Meanwhile, Aiden is waiting in the office. The real threat has arrived. Prisoner 3,340 steps out of the portal, mocking the warden. Aiden calls her by her real name, Melahima, and she drops the act, flaring her magic for a head-on clash. The prison is in chaos, fueled by brutal conditioning on the werewolves. One whiff of blood, and these beasts lose their minds, driven only by the instinct to kill. The mastermind gives a lethal order: stick to the mission or die. The girl trembles, but her will is crushed as she's forced into a berserk mode. The moment the strange tattoos appear, the tide turns. One fighter gets blasted by a beast, while the blonde girl rings her bell and kicks her opponent straight into the rubble. The werewolf coughs blood, completely overwhelmed by these monsters. The blonde girl unleashes an earth-shattering kick. One hit is enough to pulverize bones. As the ground cracks, the gray-haired commander orders full beast mode. The blonde girl smiles effortlessly, treating this life-or-death slaughter like a mere warm-up. The scene shifts, and the mood is tense. The man worries about backup, but the woman in the chair tells him not to get his hopes up there on their own. Aiden stands alone with his cane, bluffing hard, decided who dies first. Little does he know, they've already planned a trap, sending Avenge to fake a surrender. The trap springs. Avenge lands a brutal knee strike, then suddenly kneels and pledges loyalty to Aiden, selling out her team. Aiden immediately plays along with the twist. Seeing the purple liquid oozing from her fingers, Avenge is totally confused. Melahima screams attack, in a rage, but Avenge freezes in Aiden's arms, completely ignoring the order. Aiden reveals his trick. He treated Avenge's brain like a computer, spamming her with complex logical paradoxes until her simple kill command processor overheated and crashed. With the weaponized girl neutralized, Aiden turns on the Red Witch daily. She tries to hide behind their contract, but Aiden's crushing presence forces her to panic and make excuses. To save herself, Daily instantly binds her ally Melahima. Aiden looks cold and ruthless, but he's bluffing hard. He only memorized one word of the contract spell. The enemy front collapses. The Red Witch surrenders, and the Necromancer gets bored and leaves. Now, only Melahima remains, isolated and facing Aiden's judgment. Suddenly, Melahima screams as she loses control. Her body twists and warps, consumed by parasitic power, transforming her into a grotesque plague monster right there. The monster Melahima roars a challenge, while Daily urges Aiden to execute the traitor immediately. Aiden is cornered. He has to fight now, or his bluff will be blown. Aiden is panicking inside but keeps smiling. He claims he'll use a blinding flash to make it challenging, but really, he just needs to blind everyone so they don't see how weak he actually is. Dark magic erupts, dragging Aiden back to his past life. He was a drunk failure who missed his mother's death, and that crushing regret now fuels his power. Countless vengeful spirits rise from the river Styx, writhing in pain and anger. Aiden connects with their despair, understanding their regret and claiming their power as his own. Above the river Styx, the winged goddess speaks. Whoever crosses this monster-filled river to reach her wins a second chance at life. A soul with a split face hears the call. Desperate to survive, he slashes through screaming monsters, carving a bloody path. The afterlife has strict rules. Souls must endure suffocation and gravity to reach the other side. It's a brutal elimination game. Back in the prison battle, Aiden hacks off the Batgirl's arm. But the vampire mocks him, claiming physical attacks are useless against her regeneration. The watching witches think Aiden is crazy for wasting magic. Meanwhile, the underground bet continues. The loser will be devoured by the sticks. Aiden takes a hit, sending his hat flying. The vampire thinks she's won, but her hand suddenly sizzles and burns upon touching his blood. Turns out Aiden is soaked in holy water. His blood is acid to vampires. While she screams, Aiden counters with a heavy punch. Meanwhile, the red-haired witch wakes her beast, trying to spy on Aiden's fear through its eyes, only to find his mind completely unreadable. The rats uncover a key secret from the notebook. Aiden's right leg is injured. That old wound is his fatal weakness. The enemy targets the weak spot, kicking Aiden's right leg. He loses balance, falls, and gets stomped on. It looks like game over. Meanwhile, the sticks race hits the final stretch. The soul reaches out, desperately touching the goddess's palm means winning rebirth. At this moment, the underworld trial and the prison battle intertwine, all leading to a crazy revelation. Chaos escalates. Factions go to war. Whether for revenge or power, the prison is destined to be bathed in blood today. The battlefield is brutal. A giant skeleton demon sweeps soldiers away, while a prisoner's hand is pinned to the ground by a blade. Agonizing. Mental attacks and physical crushing blows rain down. Prisoners scream in phantom pain, some blasted away, others breaking down in traumatic memories. One mistake, and the pink-haired girl gets her back torn open by tentacles. Losers get nothing but cruel mockery and a cold blade. The goddess announces the stick's winner. You won. Your reward is the body of Aiden Garrett. Rebirth is yours. That's the truth of Aiden's transmigration. Back in reality, the mastermind stares at a severed limb that just appeared, totally confused. The goddess laughs, enjoying her manipulation. Below, the blue-haired tough guy rips his shirt, ready to teach these monsters a lesson. Twist. Glasses girl sneers at the enemy. So what if you knew Aiden's weakness? Your puppetry is garbage, and you still lost. The red-haired witch daily panics, screaming for help into thin air. Aiden appears, cold and composed despite his injuries. His presence dominates the room as the psychological game of execution begins. Lore page, rules of the underworld and contracts with the dead. This world building hints that the upcoming battles won't be simple. Back in the ruins, Aiden stands amidst dangerous witches. He realized from day one, warfare in this world isn't about defense, it's do or die. The manual lists S-class prisoners as city destroyers. Eyeing the top-tier troublemakers, Aiden calculates, to beat smart people, he must use their own paranoia against them. Aiden challenges Daily directly, handing her the heavy scroll. Seeing the title, Execution List, cold sweat runs down her face. It's a catalog of death sentences. Aiden explains the game with a cold sneer. 3 strikes, secret execution. He lists others' fates. Even without magic, his psychological warfare terrifies Daily, freezing the air around them. Chaos erupts in the prison. Explosions blast everywhere. Prisoners who were cocky moments ago are now terrified as collars fail and allies are blown away. The 3 strikes rule is real. Blood mist fills the icy air. The system seems to have gone rogue. It's Aiden's calculation using paralysis rounds and pure fear to shatter the prisoner's spirits. Daily completely loses it when she sees her crimes posted. The stolen bullets are known. Meanwhile, Aiden is actually on his last legs, barely standing due to blood loss. The witch spirals into overthinking. Aiden was in his office, so how does he know? It must be a trap. If she acts now, she proves her guilt and gives him a reason to kill her. Though weak, Aiden projects terrifying power, a skull illusion flickering on his face. He points at Daily, demanding if she dares to gamble her life. The bluff is absolute perfection. Her student screams, urging her to fight for the witch assembly's honor. But Daily deflates. She'd rather ruin their reputation than face that unfathomable man. Daily starts rationalizing, remembering Aiden's kindness and imagining a future with him. To save herself, she activates a magic circle, turning on her own student. Even Asuna sides with Aiden. The rebellious student is instantly isolated. With the top dog switching sides, the riot ends. Like a bad joke, she surrenders immediately. Crisis averted. Asuna handles the paperwork. On the cliff edge, the living weapon Evangeline is on the brink of awakening, deciding to rely only on herself. Suddenly, violence erupts. A silver-haired assassin dives with pink flames, aiming for a kill. The redhead reacts instantly, summoning a massive firewall to intercept the impact. In the smoke, S-class prisoner Ivan Shaw goes berserk. Files identify her as a shapeshifter with poisonous blood. She charges like a maniac. The real monster is unleashed. End page, chapter closes. Since the system forces him to be a villain, he has no choice but to embrace the darkness.